Do we need to do an introduction?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. How's it going?
It's been
What's
literally a year since you've seen our faces.
a year?
Yes,
1 year.
probably
Unless you
2 years.
follow us on
Well, yeah,
social,
like,
then you're always
together.
going to see us
Together.
together. But yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? We've been trying to plan this on and off, but I guess it kind of comes with the nature of starting a podcast, I think.
And then we had been optimistic of doing it all in person, like once a month, and then Zoom just never really fit in with our schedules. So
No.
this is a sneaky afternoon. I think going forward it will be at nighttime.
Yeah, I think this is the first kind of afternoon that we've found free, and I think it's nice because, yeah, going. I like the idea of night. I like because that it seems fitting, like in those moments where the kids are asleep and we can actually like think,
Think, think delusional thoughts.
think delusional thoughts. I kind of feel like I can think this afternoon, but I don't. I don't know.
You just said you forgot all of the things you were meant to take with you.
I did today. I did forget. Well, one of the things I forgot, and then I went on a tangent and did some side quests while I was out, so it was kind of
Nice.
productive.
Love a sec.
Uh, what are we starting at? What are we
All
kicking it
right.
off with?
All right. We are going to start with what is our struggle and our win of the week.
Do you want to start so then I can have like a think?
Something to bounce off. Okay. I want to just make it a little bit broader because this week feels like a bit of a vortex. So my struggle of this fortnight is coming off the back of Cyclone Alfred plus massive red moon eclipse and full moon. So it just all feels like very big, chaotic, releasing, changing energy. It's just been a big time. So the struggle has been refining that energy. So it's like being homebound with a toddler for 4 or 5 days, not having power for a couple of them, not being able to just go out on adventures. Like we go out pretty much every day. We're always at the park or with friends, or he comes to work. So he's it's really weird for him to just be stuck at home for a whole day normally, let alone four and a half of them in a row. And we got off really good because our town normally floods and normally, yeah, is pretty fucked up. So quite a blessing with how the cyclone turned out because I've been through a couple of cyclones in my life. So I know what they can be like. But oh my God, you know what actually? It made me so empathetic to all the parents who had kids and toddlers and babies during COVID. I was messaging all my mums being props to you guys. This sucks for 4 days. How did you do it for 2 years? So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's super triggering, like when things like that happen and you're kind
Mm.
of housebound. And yeah, I had that exact same struggle and reaction. Um, and it's like an immediate, oh, like I'm instantly like, oh, I don't want this. I don't like it. And yeah, so 100% feel you on that.
Mm. So, my win of the week. I don't know.
What's the win? I feel like I know I feel like you've had a few wins, and I think when we're talking about the clarity of things just falling,
I
like
feel
I
like
feel
there's a
like
win.
that's a win.
I feel like finding mental clarity and getting out of limbo is a win, but we still are in the last 2% of limbo. So we're just waiting for one more answer. One more answer to know where we're going.
That's exciting.
It's fucking 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Where is it?
I want to clock off after
I
this.
know. I want to enjoy my weekend, but I'm going to be waiting till
Yeah,
Monday. Mm.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I 100% mirror that thought of the fortnight with the cyclone and being housebound, I get really, yeah, triggered. My body has a reaction, my brain has a reaction, and therefore my child also reacts. And,
Mm,
it's a tough one when you have a small human has such energy and needs to release it in some way, and then anxiety, all of those things come out. So yeah, that was a really tough one. And yeah, I always think back to COVID times, and it's so funny because at that when it was like peak COVID, I was still breastfeeding at the time, and whilst we were in that thick of it, I stopped breastfeeding because um it the physical
mm.
load of it was so intense, and I was like, I can't have her on my body anymore while we're just here. So yeah, it's an interesting one to navigate. Got through it, and I think a win for me is just kind of with work, new music coming out for myself. Like, I classify that as a win. Like, it's been a really nice time. Like, obviously it is still stressful, but I have like really great support putting it out, and it's been really nice. So I'd say that was a win. Yeah.
I left my door open. Everything's blowing over now. Yeah, how does it
Beautiful.
feel having a single out in the world?
Good. It's like birthing a baby. It's a bit like that, but it's like there's still so much that needs to be done, because it
Mhm.
is an EP. So there's another single coming out in the next couple of weeks. And so now it's like, all right, on to the next. Let's keep pushing this while we do this. And then, yeah, it's kind of continuous. But I must say, like, being so present on social media for
Mm.
me has been really interesting. Like, I have a love hate relationship with
I
it,
was
but
about to
having
say
to
that. I
like,
was like, I've been seeing your face on socials. That's so wild.
it's you're like, what? I know. And because it was over the Christmas period, I was totally off of it. Like,
Mm,
I was
mm,
nowhere to be found, because also I kind of knew that releasing new music, like, I would have to be very active on there. So yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one. I don't. It's not my favorite thing,
You know
but
what? I just discovered one of our Polynesian brothers on Insta this afternoon before I had a nap, and I think
Mhm.
I flicked you one of his posts, but I just started listening to one that I'll have to send you through. But he was saying, like, we're in this weird cusp generation where, like, we grew up analog, and like we were grown up. Geez, we were taught like that, like, if you do all the things, if you go to school, if you go to uni, like, you can buy a house, you can like get a job and a deposit and da 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 da, and you can have all these achievements. And you've seen your parents do it, and you've seen, at least friends of your parents, if you haven't seen your parents do it. Like, it was a lot more accessible. And then, a bunch of us did that. I mean, I didn't, but I know a lot of people who did. And it's like, maybe I didn't physically do it, but I had hopes for it. Like, I had hopes for being like, oh, it's just so easy to like go buy land. It's just so easy to do this. Yeah, and it's not coming to fruition. And then like our younger generation, like my sister and my brother, who are like 11 years younger than me, like they are growing up in this digital age where they never saw that. They never witnessed that analog life. So it's like they already have a different expectation on what reality is going to be. And so it feels like, I know I'm seeing kids like now who are like buying houses and stuff because they've just come up through that digital media, and it's like we're stuck in this middle where it's like we were told to do this thing, but actually we should be doing this thing, and then just none of us are winning, and it just like feels shitty.
Oh, 100%. We're just kind of this weird in between. We're like the awkward teenagers
For our whole life.
for
Ew.
our whole life. No.
Mm. I went to
Yeah.
delete, segue, I went to delete my original email account this week. Like the one that I
Oh.
made in like grade 5 with like my bestie, and it was like Teenage Gypsy 147 because I was like, I'm gonna be a gypsy. Um, anyway, so I went to delete it. I was like, I've held on to it for years. All my spam goes there. But I was like, it's time to get rid of it because I'm getting notifications that it's full and they want to start charging me for storage. But I was like, oh wait, I should check like my Google Drive, my photos, anything linked to it because there might actually be stuff on there that I want. I no longer care for the emails. Like we definitely had some pen pals, but I was like, I'm not gonna go through them like and print them
Yeah.
out. No, no, no. Um, but it had a YouTube account connected to it, and it was like all our high school videos, and I like linked them to my friends. I was like, yo, do you remember this? It was like core memories unlocked. It's like, oh yeah, I've been recording my whole life.
YouTube was the thing. And like I've still got stuff on YouTube that
Mm.
I did in high school as well,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
with my friends because yeah, again, like this was an age where we had webcams and
With the filters on
with the
the
filters,
what was it called on the Apple computer? The photo booth.
photo booth. And
Mm.
so but we didn't even have, I remember we had a physical webcam that we had to connect in
Oh,
and
yeah,
it
yeah,
would go
yeah,
to sit on top.
yeah.
So there was that, but also digital camera, and we would film everything on the digital camera and then edit, like
Mm, 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 mm.
there's some random stuff on YouTube. I'm not going to say on here, but those that know, they know. And we do send it to each other and we have a good little laugh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I might
yeah,
like delete this before before this goes live.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
just, yeah, look, I'm not going to give any clues whatsoever to what it could be. But
I mean,
we thought we were great.
there's
I
a
think,
nice video of me like cross dressing. I
wow,
realize as much as I tried to come out multiple times as a kid and it got pushed back, I was like, man, I was so fucking queer presenting.
you
Like
were,
I was
yeah.
always playing the guy character, always, yeah. Yeah.
Loves. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so great. Well, yeah, here's to YouTube for giving us hopes and dreams. And you know what? Like if we had TikTok back then when we were younger, can you imagine? I feel like we would have blown up.
So one of my friends messaged back being like, I can't quote it, we're recording on the phone. So it was like along the lines of, I wish we had better quality cameras and phones back then. He's and then he like quickly rebuked it because I was like, really? I enjoyed like being analog and like getting this little pocket of being able to like use it. And then he was like, oh yeah, shit. Like actually, I would hate to be like born post 2000. Like
Mm.
there's a lot of pressure. Like I just know like from younger siblings and younger nieces and nephews, it's like the group chats are brutal. Like they're brutal now and we know how to handle them as, like there's side chats and but doing that in high school, nah, like it was very much like you had to go and like talk to the person or write a note in class. Like you had to be a lot more brave, I think.
And you'd be calling people on their
I
home phone
love
and
that.
asking, can I please talk to such and
Mm, mm,
such?
mm, mm, mm.
Three-way chats. So then I guess,
Oh,
like, if we're on
God.
this kind of
I was just
three-way chat.
no core memory, like having to dial it and then like press the buttons and like hope that it goes and link. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess then on that subject and on a parenting scale and a lens is like, as our kids get older, how do we navigate that? Like, this
Mm,
is such a foreign concept. For those who not grown up with it, we can only like kind of educate ourselves in the sense of
mm,
you know going, don't speak to strangers. Like you also need to have just a whole other level of awareness. And I guess that could also, that's like fueling anxiety and self-worth and how they view themselves
mm,
in terms of physical appearance and how they are just in life, like constantly having to document things. And I worry about that because I can kind of see that in in my daughter, that I'm like, she'll go, "Oh, did you record it or did you take a photo?"
Mm,
And I'm like, we don't have to. Like, we can just
mm,
enjoy where we're at and what we're doing. Like,
mm,
but then there's a part of me that's like, "Oh, but that's also creating a memory." It's a strange one. And you got filters now that kind
mm.
of warp how we look.
Yeah, there's
Um
nothing one for filters.
so yeah, moving like how strict, I mean, it's again, I guess there's a nuance, there's an in between there,
Mm,
like allowing for things to naturally happen, but also going, these are like, it's rooted in um you know tools and how to navigate things, and I guess planting those really strong morals and values on self and
mm.
like how they view themselves.
Yeah. I know there's a really good travel content creator that I like that has been doing it for like over 10 years, and she always said that like when she rocked up into a country or a new city, she would do the first day just creating content, and then like the remainder of her days she like didn't have a phone, didn't have a camera or anything, and it's like that you have
That's
to find that nice balance. And yeah, maybe it's like, oh, if we want to record memories, then maybe we just do it like, once a week or like 1 hour in a day or something, like, yeah.
and like special occasions, but kind of limiting yourself
I think that's
to
why
that.
I still shoot on film, like,
Yeah.
and even like the Super 8, like I'll shoot film maybe like 3 times a year, like, like a wedding. I shot my 30th last year, and then like these bigger milestone ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's good. And I think it's like, I've said, it's so interesting, she'll come home and be like, when can I have a phone? Because she knows people that her
Mm.
age or a little bit older who have a phone. And I'm, there's no purpose for it right now. We don't need that. So having those conversations is really interesting. But I know that there's still options where you can get phones that don't have any social media on it. It's purely like text, like
Mm.
what we had, the Nokia phones where you just kind of used it for text, play Snake.
I think what snake. I think what I would do when I get to that stage is I really like the idea of like the Apple Watch, like
Oh, yes.
so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they can call the contacts that are in there.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, and then they can
Okay.
still, I think they can send a text, but it's like limited by characters. But it's like it's more so like, yeah, and so then they can receive calls from their contacts. As far as I know, I haven't looked too much into it. I've got a 2-year-old, but like the people who I know have used that with kids who do a lot of like extracurricular things, and so then it's just like a watch, and it's not, yeah, and it's on their
Oh,
person. So like if they get lost or something, like that they haven't put it down somewhere, yeah.
that's interesting. I didn't know that. So I'm
Mm.
definitely going to be looking into that because I think, yeah, it's just limiting their access to, you know, the outside, or the internet world, because you don't like, we know now that they're using it in schools, like
Mm.
research stuff, like how, also, just to like side note, how wild is it that we had to look at through encyclopedias?
Well, I know that I was the last grade in my school that our year 12 assessments were all still like paper. Like we had like to type some up, but you had to use books to like research it. You did a couple of like, I think it was like if you were allowed like 2 websites, but the rest was like all books from the library. Um,
Yep.
yeah. And then
It's
post that, it was like from the grade below us, they had access to like personal laptops, and it was just like online research and digital like ebooks and stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
So it was weird to
I,
like literally see that wave behind you, like.
yeah, I mean, but yeah, encyclopedias, being able to just like, yeah, well,
Mm.
yeah, so limited though,
Oh yeah,
how much,
like you're years behind in research, right?
yeah.
Mm.
Whereas now it's at they can ask you a question and it's like, oh, what's this? And it's like, oh, let's Google it, let's figure it out.
And
And
even
you
with
will get that.
the scientific papers that you have access through the unis, it's like you still have access to books that are literally published this year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to date.
Mm.
So interesting. Which leads us to, should we go on to the next? That was a nice little talk about
Side
technology
quest. Side
and
quest.
side quest.
A hot
About
take.
tech.
Do we
I think
want
we
like
go with.
an up
I want
hot
to know what this
take or a
hot take
low
is.
hot take? Like a positive or like a negative? What are we feeling?
Oh, I think I want a positive one.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we've brought it back up post Cyclone, so we'll do a
I
positive.
want a positive hot take.
Okay. I feel like
Go.
if you are like an intuitive person or can just like a good at reading energy or you're just like self-aware, I feel like the sun and rising signs are redundant when judging a person. Like if you're in the getting to know stage of people, sun and
Mm,
rising are pretty redundant because you could just judge off their vibes whether you're going to mesh or not, and then like down the track find out their sun and rising and be like, oh yeah, like already know that. But the ones that I want to know when I'm getting to know someone is your moon, Mercury, and Venus. So,
mm-hmm.
moon being how you intellectualize, how you think, how you process like your inner world.
Yep.
Your Mercury being how you communicate with other people. And then your
Yes.
Venus being how you express love.
I agree because I feel like with the vibe thing, 100% you're gonna, if you can read it,
Mm.
rising. I feel like I can clock onto someone's rising straight up
Mm.
because that's how they present themselves.
Yeah.
Like this is how we see them.
I'm pretty much 99% of the time only going to click with someone who is fire or air rising. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's just you're bringing the same vibe. Yeah.
you're matching it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, moon. I can always. Moon is. I love knowing someone's moon.
Mm. And
How
it's
they
not going to
think.
change whether I'm friends with you or not, but Moon will like I think just help me understand how you're moving through life.
And then do you feel like knowing those three,
Mm.
they're like the second three, not the big three?
No, they're not the big three. Moon is part of the big three.
Oh, moon's part of the big
But
three.
see,
Yeah, sorry.
so okay, everyone's like big three, sun, rising, moon. I would feel like my big, like what I want to know is it big three because that's what everyone wants to know or what people tend to know. Why is it big?
Yeah, yeah. Why is it big three? Who made up that rule? Because the other planets are just as important as the other
Oh yeah,
those
yeah,
three.
yeah, yeah. So my top three, not my big three, my top three:
Okay. So
Moon,
your top
Mercury,
three.
Venus.
Okay. I
I love expressing love, and I love everything to do with that. And it's because I'm a Libra, Venus. We love love, and we love giving. Da da da. So I want to know
Libra
that. Sorry,
Libra Venus.
why you got balloons?
See, this always happens to me.
Libra,
I
Venus.
know.
I want to know that I can pour into you and give to you, and you're going to receive that because you are a sign that receives love and you're not closed off and you're open to love or you're like a lover girl or whatever. Like, I just want to be able to pour into you and not be like shut down for it because people out here are scared of love apparently. What?
They are. But also in terms of it being an air sign, it's quite playful and it's light. It's
Mm.
not like totally embedded in this seriousness. Like this is
Yeah.
my thing too, that I can't it yeah. There needs to be playfulness because my Venus is an Aries.
Mm. You know what? It's so funny because whenever I hear Aries, Aries gives off this like the sound in my head sounds like air, right? And
Yeah.
then it's the same as like Aquarius. The sound sounds like water. So it's so
Yes.
weird those two. Yeah.
Are not what they think
Yeah.
they are.
But Aries is
Let's just
playful because you're the younger sign. Yeah.
playful, love spontaneity.
Mm-mm.
I like to be kept on my toes a bit. And look, I guess in previous relationships, that's not necessarily the best thing to have. But like, yeah, anyways, Venus, Aries, and then so we're going to Mercury,
Communication.
communication.
Because I am quite
What's your Mercury?
Leo. We're opposites, remember? Yeah.
That is right, because I'm a Gemini Mercury.
Mm. Which
Yeah.
works, which is why we're just friends. Because then
Mhm.
our sun signs are the same. They mesh well together as well, Leo and Gemini. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah, how we communicate. And I think that's also like being a Gemini, communication is like my
Mm.
thing. So if you can't communicate with me and then like it's
Mm.
not.
I feel like because, say, people with Mercury in Capricorn, they're blunt, but it's very like cold and logical and scientific and like these are the facts. Whereas like Leo is blunt, but in like a passionate way where it's like, let's do the thing, like let's go on this and like just give this a go. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like enthusiasm behind it.
Mm-mm-mm.
Um yeah, well, my Gemini's just communicate.
Yeah.
Ah, ah,
Yep,
ah.
yep, 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 yep.
Yep, 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 yep. I can do that.
Yeah,
And
so
then
I
yeah,
that's
and
my
then the moons.
the moon, yeah. Because like I got some like beautiful friends that fall into that air fire like sun and rising and we do have vibes, but then when it comes down to like us keeping our friendship alive and like communicating and comms and stuff. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with some of you? And it's because they're Cancer moons. Love you. You know who you are. But like,
Look, no comment. I'm just gonna go turn my head like this.
it's like, I really feel for your inner world. Like, it's actually really heartbreaking to watch all my Cancer moons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. Now, I'd be also then, okay, so if we were to take the big threes out, right? And
Five.
if we were going to say no
Five.
moons,
Oh, right. What?
no moon,
Oh,
then
I
the big
can't
three
choose moon. Okay.
can't choose moon. I chuck in the Mars.
Your anger
Yeah.
and your energy level.
Yep.
Mm,
Because I feel like that also, like, it's that thread of like
mm,
communication,
mm,
love, and then how we, I guess, keep out the frustration of things
mm,
and like
mm, mm.
how we can then how we approach conflict.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
then I would say that I'm interested in people's Mars.
Again, this is why we're friends, because it's the same, the Leo Gemini again.
That's right, because I'm a Mars Leo
Yeah,
and you're a Mars Gemini.
yeah.
So I think the understanding I get is that we do approach things with enthusiasm and like
Mm,
lightness, but also passion. Like
mm,
that we're not kind of going to get bogged down into like the semantics of things and like kind of fully just go, this isn't going to work, or the thing of we need to make it work.
mm.
That's the gist I get,
Yeah.
which is
So
good.
that's my hot take for the week.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the hot take. And
What are you
now we
reading at
move
the
on.
moment?
Hey?
What are you reading at the moment?
Oh, now we move on to uh audiobook
Slash.
review.
Mm. Slash. Good.
Audiobook slash book
Yeah, yeah.
review.
But we be
Because
mums. So who's sitting down and reading a book? I wish.
well, I mean, I am.
Okay.
I'm kind of going between the two. I'm doing the audiobook and the reading because the current one I'm reading is like it's a 8 book series. Okay. So
Mm.
I'll get to that review at another once I've finished
Okay.
that 8 book
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
But I wanted to review this audiobook that I listened to, and it's called Lights Out. And we've been talking about this. Well, I spoke about it, and this is like my.
I've had a massive break. I got 30% of the way through and then my headphones died and I don't know where they are. But I have a night without a kid, so I might finish it tonight.
I want you to finish it tonight because I want to talk about it.
Yeah, go.
I'm I'm just in my book world at the moment, and so I was on Book Talk. Like I'm on the Book Talk, so I'm getting a lot of reviews, but also suggestions.
Mm-mm.
This one is a dark uh romance,
Okay.
a dark romance. So it has a lot of it. That whole beginning, it was like a minute of trigger warnings. Actually, right at
Mm.
the beginning, like the first little thing, they have a lot of trigger
Oh,
warnings.
really? Clearly, I skipped that.
You
I,
skipped it.
I never read intros
But
in books.
I gave you a heads up. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
a heads up. And I think the way that I opened up this conversation with you about what the book was about,
Mm.
right? And I saw it, someone else explained it this way on TikTok, and I was like, this is it. And my first
Mm.
thing was that I said is, look, I am not into a mask kink.
Mm. I was like, where is this phone call going?
I was like, I just want to be clear, I'm not into masks.
You never know.
I'm not into masks. I'd
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
probably freak out.
Yeah. Oh,
I'd freak out.
100%. You're getting fucking kicked. Kicked and punched and shoved out the door.
Yeah, anyways, so basically Lights Out, it's a dark romance about two characters. The audiobook was probably the best audiobook that I've listened to because it was so it's two character point of views and there's two people that play those characters. I should have gotten their names, hey, um of who narrates
Oh,
it.
yeah, the narrators. Oh,
It
God.
is narrators. The
Which
guy
guy?
narrator in this is my favorite. Like,
Is he as good looking in real life as his voice is in the audiobook?
well, I didn't look into it, but all I just said because
Next
also I
time.
was like, why ruin that illusion?
Okay. Okay.
um but now I'm like looking at other audiobooks that he narrates because he's really good. I think he suited this character in particular
Mm.
really well. But basically, Ali, who's the main female, she works in a hospital. She's a bit of a workaholic. She's got her kind of reasons why she's a workaholic. Her trauma of losing her mum and her dad. I should say this is a trigger warning because I might talk about, go into other things. But there is a lot of kinks, a lot of kink in this which I was kind of that's why I was a bit hesitant to listen to it because like I mean yeah there's parts of it where I was just kind of like
You haven't
oh
gone down that path yet.
I was like whoa whoa whoa
Yeah, 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 yeah.
whoa because essentially like she follows this masked guy on TikTok and she's into it. She's into this masked dude. He's got his shirt off. He works out. He looks good, but he's got a mask on. And it's like she likes to be scared, I guess, and
I think you
feel.
have to take it seriously. Like, if that was someone's TikTok, I'd just be laughing.
But I think this is what I also love because it's like part of it's so funny. Like it's actually a
Mm.
really funny book, and
I
the
was
relate.
that there's humor in the book. Like, I was definitely like laughing out loud. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
I 100% was laughing out loud. The male lead Josh in it, he I I was saying to you, hey, the best description of him was like uh black cat um what was it like this thumb comes up black cat and Labrador energy or like happy like dog
Mm.
puppy dog energy. So like he is quite dark um in some ways, but then he's
Mm.
really playful and he's really funny and
And like
he
deeply caring, but like also, I'm just gonna be
so
an
caring.
absolute freak.
He
I'm gonna push
absolutely
all the boundaries. I'm gonna cross
he
them.
he really pushed it, but he made her feel so safe
Mm.
in that. And I think that's what I get coming out of this book. I was like, I loved their relationship. He took care of her and
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm.
really also allowed her to step into her feminine and to
Mm,
also push back and uh, didn't kind of go, you need to be a weak woman in order for me to be a like strong masculine.
mm,
Like there was this beautiful dance that they had in their connection. And yeah, look, you just listen to it. Go have a listen if you're down for it. Cause yeah, it was probably one of my, I listened to that whilst it was the cyclone time. Just,
mm.
you know, to kind of get me just to zone out a bit at different times. I don't know if I'd read it though, the like physical book.
I'm surprised because I'm so funny about like narrators. This is why I'm not big into audiobooks. Even like non-fiction audiobooks, it's really hard with people's like accents or the pace that they speak at or like the intonation and stuff. I find that really hard. So I've actually gotten into this and like yeah, her accent is a little bit, but like she plays her character so well that like every time it switches back to her chapter, it's maybe like two lines. I'm like, ugh, but then it's disappeared, gone. But like together, the dynamic of them playing those characters, I'm like, yeah, I think it hits better than what I imagined just reading it would.
Yeah, definitely. And I think because, and then a thought of mine came, whereas like the funny aspects of it, would I read them as maybe they've delivered it, because there's a particular line in there. It's a spoil, I'll spoil it, but there's the line in there, and they've said it on TikTok too, and that's kind of what got me into it, because I heard that
Mm.
audio clip of it
I-
and I was like, oh, that's so funny. But basically, he's wearing a balaclava, and then he wakes up, and the balaclava, he can't see, and then he's like, I can't see, I've gone blind. And then she looks over and she's like, oh, don't be like, it's your baklava. And he's like, you mean balaclava? And she's like, yeah, what did I say? And he's like, a baklava is a sweet treat and balaclava is a mask. Like, it was just the way that they said it too. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like this would be something that I would laugh and just, yeah.
Mm, mm, mm,
Anyways.
mm.
So yeah, that audiobook, I give it a 4.5 star rating.
Out of how many
Um,
numbers? Out of five?
Out of 5. I'm gonna go 5. And I'm gonna like, that's a strong start if we're gonna
Yeah,
review other
geez.
audiobooks or books. So Lights Out, she's got the second book coming out in June. I don't know if it follows the same story as them. It might be another character, but it will be another dark romance.
Mm,
So
mm, mm.
I'm excited for the audiobook. So yeah,
Oh,
Lights Out.
nice.
But yeah, you need to finish it so we can talk
Uh,
about the ending and stuff, because it was like the ending was really beautiful and I was like, oh my gosh.
mm. Yeah. I think like a strong masculine who makes you feel safe. Like that's been coming up on my Instagram as well, where it's like
Yeah.
actually been guys talking about like, look, if you want your woman to be an absolute freak, like your foreplay starts from the minute you wake up. Like you've got to provide for her, you've got to like, and providing is whatever your dynamic is. Like, don't get it twisted. And then like you got to just be grounded and stable and secure and like support her and like let her express her emotions and not be fearful of the strong woman. And
This
then
is
anything is possible in the bedroom.
because, yeah, when you're scared, like there's no security there. Like
Mm,
there's, oh, 100%. This is true. And this is what I feel like when I read a lot of like romantasy and like books like this, like the male isn't scared to kind of take the lead, but also allow for the woman to take the lead
mm,
too.
mm, mm,
There's no kind of uh, imbalance.
mm, mm.
It's allowing and yeah, that it's the foreplay. It's the
Mm,
whole thing. In that book, Josh doesn't actually see her until like they don't actually fully get together until what, like a few I don't even know now. I've got to have to think about it. It takes a
mm,
while.
mm,
But you got to have that build, right?
mm.
Mm. Anyways,
And on that note,
and on that note,
yeah, love you and leave you.
we will. All right. Well, stay tuned for our next podcast whenever that happens. But yeah, we're going to do it at night, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then hopefully it can be weekly. That's my goal.
We could evening chats
Mm.
about parenting, about books, about life, our hot takes. I think it's yeah. And I think if anyone has suggestions of like things, topics that they might want us to talk about, like
Mm.
that might be cool too.
And be proud of this Gemini Sun, Gemini Mercury who kept it under 40 minutes.
Yes. I could have kept going. I
I know.
really could have kept going. And I was like, I'll only be able to tighten up my reviews. I got to come up with a process.
Mm-mm-mm.
So, anyways.
Well,
All right. Bye, everyone.